Now all the women, or rather the witches, were now sitting motionless in their chairs and staring as though hypnotized at somebody who had suddenly appeared on the platform. That somebody was another woman. The first thing I noticed about this woman was her size. She was tiny, probably no more than 4.5 feet tall. She looked quite young, I guess about 25 or 6. She was very pretty. She had on a rather stylish, long black dress that reached right to the ground, and a pair of black gloves that came up to her elbows. Unlike the others, she wasn't wearing a hat. She didn't look to me like a witch at all, though she couldn't possibly not be one. Otherwise, what on earth was she doing up there on the platform? And why, for heaven's sake, were all the other witches gazing at her with such a mixture of adoration, awe, and fear? Very slowly, the young lady on the platform raised her hands to her face. I saw her gloved fingers unhooking something behind her ears. And then she got hold of her cheeks and lifted her face clean away. The whole of that pretty face came away in her hands. It was a mask. As children, what are we afraid of? Is it the dark? Broccoli? No. I think Roald Dahl knew very well what he was doing when he wrote this book entitled The Witches. Children would and should be afraid of a society of child-hating, fearing, killing witches. In this book, a young boy overhears and bears witness to a group of witches laying their plans out to exterminate all the children in England. I present to you Roald Dahl's The Witches. As she took off the mask, she turned sideways and placed it carefully upon a small table nearby. And when she turned round again and faced us, I very nearly screamed out loud. That face of hers was the most frightful and frightening thing I've ever seen. Just looking at it gave me the shakes all over. It was so crumpled and wizened, so shrunken and shriveled. It looked as though it had been pickled in vinegar. It was a fearsome and ghastly sight. There's something terribly wrong with it. Something foul and putrid and decayed. There are times when something is so frightful, you become mesmerized by it, and you can't look away. I was like that now. I was transfixed, numbed, magnetized by the sheer horror of this woman's features. But there's more to it than that. I knew immediately, of course, that this was none other than the Grand High Witch herself. "The doors," shouted the Grand High Witch. "Are they chained? Are they bolted?" "The doors are chained and bolted, your grandness," answered a voice in the audience. "You may remove your gloves." Everyone in the room was peeling off her gloves. I wanted very much to see what their fingers looked like, and whether my grandmother had been right. Oh yes, I could see several of them now. Brown claws curving over the tips of fingers. They're about 2 inches long, those claws, and sharp at the ends. "You may remove your shoes." I heard a sigh of relief going up from all the witches in the room as they kicked off their narrow high-heeled shoes. I got a glimpse into the chairs of several pairs of stockinged feet, square and completely toeless. "You may remove your wigs." "Remove your wigs and get some fresh air into your spotty scalps." There now appeared in front of me, row upon row of bald female heads, a sea of naked scalps, every one of them red, itchy looking from being rubbed with the linings of the wigs. I simply cannot tell you how awful they were. Oh heavens, I thought. Oh help! Oh Lord, have mercy on me. These foul, bald-headed females are child killers, every one of them, and here I am imprisoned in the same room and I can't escape. "Witches of England. Witches of England." The audience stirred uneasily and sat up straighter in their chairs. "Miserable witches. Useless, lazy witches. Feeble, freebling witches. You are a heap of idle, good for nothing verms." A shudder went through the audience. The Grand High Witch was clearly in an ugly mood, and they knew it. I had a feeling that something awful was going to happen soon. I'm having my breakfast this morning, and I'm looking out the window at the beach. And what am I seeing? I'm asking you. What am I seeing? I'm seeing a revolting sight. Seeing hundreds, thousands of rotten, repulsive little children. Why have you not got rid of them? Why have you not rubbed them all out? These filthy, smelly children. With each word she spoke, flecks of pale blue phlegm shot out from her mouth like bullets. I'm asking you why. Nobody answered her question. Children smell. They stink out the world. We do not want these children around here. The bald heads in the audience all nodded vigorously. One child a week is no good to me. This is the best that you can do. We will do better, murmured the audience. We will do much better. Better is no good either. I demand maximum results. My orders are that every single child in this country shall be rubbed out, squashed, squirted, skivittered, and frittered before I come here again in 1 year's time. Do I make myself clear? A great gasp went from the audience. I saw the witches all looking at one another with deeply troubled expressions. And I heard one witch at the end of the front row saying aloud, "All of them? We can't possibly wipe out all of them." The Grand High Witch whipped round as though someone had stuck a skewer into her bottom. Who said that? Who dares to argue with me? Was it you? It was you, wasn't it? I didn't mean it, Your Grandness. I didn't mean to argue. I was just talking to myself. You dare to argue with me? I was just talking to myself. I swear it, Your Grandness. The Grand High Witch took a quick step forward, and when she spoke again, it was in a voice that made my blood run cold. A stupid witch who answers back must burn until her bones are black. No, no, the Grand High Witch went on. A foolish witch without a brain must sizzle in the fiery flame. Save me! The Grand High Witch took no notice of the wretched witch and spoke again. An idiotic witch like you must roast upon the barbecue. Forgive me, oh Your Grandness. I didn't mean it. A witch who dares to say I'm wrong will not be with us very long. A moment later, a stream of sparks that looked like tiny white-hot metal filings came shooting out of the Grand High Witch's eyes and flew straight towards the one who had dared to speak. I saw the sparks striking against her and burrowing into her, and she screamed a horrible, howling scream, and a puff of smoke rose up around her. Nobody moved. Like me, they were all watching the smoke, and when it cleared away, the chair was empty. The Grand High Witch glared around the room. I hope nobody else is going to make me cross today. Frizzled like a fritter, cooked like a carrot. You will never see her again. So now let's get down to business.